What's going on, guys? Kalipis Tech here, coming back at you with another video. In this video, I'm going to be giving you 5 reasons to buy the Cricket Ovation 2 in 2021. But before we go any further, I do want to remind you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It helps out the channel a lot. But with that being said, let's get into the video. So my first reason to buy the Cricket Ovation 2 in 2021 is the large display. This phone has a 6.82-inch display, which for the price range is pretty amazing. From my observation, I have seen that most phones nowadays, regardless of the price range, are usually around 6.5 inches. Now this can vary a lot, going from under 6 inches to well over 6.5, but this is definitely on the bigger side, and that's going to give you a real good experience with content consumption. So if you're streaming a video, viewing a photo, even reading, everything you do on this phone is going to show up larger. So for content consumption and that sort of thing, this is going to be a huge benefit that's going to give this phone a pretty good edge over other phones in the price range. My second reason to buy this phone is the ultra-wide camera. The ultra-wide camera is such a useful feature, and while it's not really uncommon, not every phone, especially phones in this price range, have it. So seeing that this phone has the ultra-wide camera was a real nice thing. This feature has so many different applications, whether you're using it to take a picture of a larger object, or maybe some scenery like a front yard or a park or something like that, or a group photo or a room. The list really goes on. So many different uses for the ultra-wide camera, so I'm really glad that this phone has it. Typically, lower-end phones have either an ultra-wide camera or a macro camera and not both. And while this phone is missing a macro camera, which might be a disappointment to some people who really like to use that feature, I do personally believe that the ultra-wide camera has much more practical use. And because of that, I would personally choose this phone over another phone that might have a macro camera but not an ultra-wide. My third reason to buy the Cricket Ovation 2 in 2021 is the fingerprint scanner. Now this might seem like an odd reason to buy a phone, but lots of phones in this price range actually don't have a fingerprint scanner, and instead you have to put in a PIN or a password or a pattern, and I personally find that really inconvenient. So seeing that this phone actually does have a fingerprint scanner that's really fast and easy to use is really nice for security. It makes it so much more convenient to unlock, and I personally can't imagine using a phone without either a fingerprint scanner or face unlock. Now on the flip side, unfortunately this phone doesn't have face unlock, but I personally prefer the fingerprint scanner just because it's a little bit more reliable. And of course with a fingerprint scanner, you don't actually have to be looking at the phone to unlock it, and I think that's a little bit more convenient. My fourth reason to buy the Cricket Ovation 2 in 2021 is the overall design. This phone has a really nice slim design, and I think this negates the negative effects of having such a large display. There's some phones out there that have really large displays like this, but they're also really bulky, making them awkward to hold and even more uncomfortable to carry in your pocket. And that almost starts to outweigh the benefits of having a large display to begin with. But with this phone, it is really slim, it fits in your hand really nicely, giving you the advantages of having a large display without having to deal with the downsides. The other thing about this phone I really like is that the bezels are actually pretty thin. Usually in this price range, they tend to have more chunky, outdated looking designs. But even though this thing at the bottom is kind of weird, and the water drop front facing camera isn't the cleanest looking, especially compared to those nice modern looking hole punch cameras, I do think that overall this design is really nice and has a decently modern look to it. The phone also has a decent amount of weight to it and is built with pretty good materials, so it doesn't feel cheap at all. My fifth reason to buy the Cricket Ovation 2 in 2021 is because it has Android 11. Now this might not sound like a huge thing. Android 11 is the current software and we're getting close to Android 12, but at the same time, I've seen plenty of phones in this price range that only have Android 10, and a lot of phones that aren't made by the bigger manufacturers, like for example, Samsung, Motorola, OnePlus, all those tend to have older softwares and be stuck with them. But with this phone, at least you're getting the newest version of Android as of right now, and I do think that that's really nice. But those were my 5 reasons to buy the Cricket Ovation 2 in 2021. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you found this information useful as well. If you did, don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And as always, I will see you guys in the next video.